Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to All Things Division 3 Soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. I am Simple Coach, of course, and Jackie is actually asleep in her bed. But she is with us in spirit. So, hey, I just wanted to jump right into the top 25 men's rankings. It's a little delayed. I apologize for that. Just been sort of a little bit swamped. But I'm just going to jump right into it and see where it lands. Okay, so at number 25, 5-2-1. This team is I like Claremont Mud Scripps. They're down 2 spots. They had a big win against Redlands. I think it was 2-0. Really impressive. And then they followed it up with a loss to the Poets of Whittier. At 24, new to the ranking, and maybe I'm a little bit late to the party on this one. At 4-0-2, Texas Lutheran. They're having a good run and they're playing well. And most recently, they had a tie with Southwestern. And I just can't. It's a team you can't ignore. So at 23, 7-0-3, also not rated in the past. North Park. They have 4 wins in a row, most recently a 3-1 win against Kalamazoo and a 3-0 win against Augustana. So they're quietly doing their thing out in Chi-Town. At 22, and pretty much same as they were last week, Ohio Wesleyan at 5-3-1. They had a big win against Capital, but I will say their permanence on this ranking will be determined by they have games against Wittenberg, and then they play big matchup, NCAC matchup against Kenyon. So we'll see where they land next week. At 21, down a spot, 3-3-4, Rowan. They had a really good win against Messiah, and then, I don't know, this is kind of inexplicable to me that they tied Rutgers Newark 3-3. So I still think this team can play, and defensively is usually pretty good, so conceding 3 is a little bit of a surprise, but I think they're worthy of the ranking. Another team I just can't ignore anymore because they've been lighting it up. In 20th spot, 6-0-2, Trinity, Texas. I watched them. They tied their first 2 games, and I kind of said, well, I'm not sure this Trinity team has legs. And then they turn around and win 6 in a row, scoring 30 goals while only conceding 3. So really, really impressive. So my eyes are on them. Big drop here at 19, down 4 spots, 8-1-1, Dickinson. They had a win at Stevenson, and then I'll just say I was surprised Muhlenberg beat them at Dickinson 4-2. And a team that pretends or wants to be an elite team, that shouldn't happen. So, I mean, credit to Muhlenberg. Don't want to take that away, but this is a team that, right, like eyes were on them, and this was an opportunity to show what they could be, and they just fell up short. So at 18, down 4 spots as well at 6-2-2, John Carroll. They lost to Case midweek, and then they beat Calvin. The Case game, I was surprised again. That not a game that I expected them to lose, but credit to Case. At 17, down a spot, 5-2-1, Williams. They tied Western Connecticut, and then they followed up with wins at Colby and Bowdoin. So, you don't expect the Western Connecticut tie. So, at 16, up 2 spots, 5-2-2, Case Western Reserve. Coach Carter Poe's men. They beat John Carroll at home and then tied my Mount Union Purple Raiders. At 15, 8-1, up 6 spots. I'm giving them a lot of credit, maybe more than I should, but at 8-1, McAllister, they beat St. John's and Concordia Moorhead. They have a big game next Saturday against St. Olaf, so there's a lot riding on that one. In 14th spot at 5-1-2, Occidental. They're up 3 spots. They had wins against Pomona Pitzer, and then followed by a tie against the Redlands. So they're doing what they need to do, right? And they're playing some tough games. So at 13, the enigma for me of the rankings that I still can't get my arms around. Down 2 spots, a team that finds ways not to lose. Franklin and Marshall at 4-0-5. They had a surprising midweek tie against Kane, followed by a big win against Swarthmore. So, at 12th, at 6-1-3, down 2 spots as well. Cortland State at they tied SUNY New Paltz, and I would have expected more. I would have expected that to be a game that they wrapped up. So, down 4 spots, big hit. 5-2-2, Ohio Northern in 11th. They had a loss road to Wash U that I don't know. Again, another one that I didn't necessarily expect out of them. So. All right, so now let's shift over to the top 10. At 5-2-2, up 3 spots. Maybe they've sort of course corrected from the bumps that they had earlier in the season. 5-2-2, Johns Hopkins had a big midweek tie against Mary Washington. And then they turned it around and had a convincing 3-1 win against Ursinus. 3 goals. Who would have thunk? So, so in 10th spot. In 9th spot, down a place from last week at 4-1-3, Connecticut College. They had a win at Western New England, followed by, of course, a NESCAC tie at Middlebury. So I still think they can play. I think they need some goal production and granted, the NESCAC, the parity is absolutely ridiculous right now. I can't tell you the amount of ties that that there's been in the NESCAC already. So, speaking of, in 8th at 6-0-2, Middlebury, they're up a spot. They did tie Connecticut at home. I think this is another team that could have found the formula a little bit for this year. So, at number 7, up 5 spots. That's a big jump in my book. At 7-0-1, Gustavus Adolphus. They're quietly making a name for themselves, and this time they had a win against Hamline. So they're winning the games they should. They're in the games that matter, and really having a pretty remarkable season. So next up, down 1 from last week at 7-1-2, Wisconsin Eau Claire. They had a midweek loss to St. Olaf, which was, I think it was 4-2, and St. Olaf made them look really vulnerable. And then they followed it up with a win against Augsburg. So. Which was a tough match. Augsburg can give a run to anybody. So, all right, the top 5. At number 5, 7-0-1, Tufts. They beat Emerson, then convincingly manhandled Wesleyan 4-1. They're up a spot from last week. I'm going to say it. I think Tufts might be the best team in the NESCAC right now. really, really, really have opened up their offense and really starting to get goals. And um, I think in the 3 years I've been following, this might be the best team that I've watched. So at number 4, down a spot, 5-0-3, Kenyon College. They tied at Otterbein, which knocked them down a notch. I would have expected them to win that game. But then they recovered with a really solid win against Christopher Newport. So, their schedule is still a real challenge, and they're just going into the NCAC, which is going to be more of a challenge. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. At number 3, 4-1-2. I don't necessarily think they are at their best, but you can't deny them. They do what they need to do. Amherst, they tied at Babson, then beat Bates and Colby. Like I said, I don't think they're playing their best, but they're just so hard to handle, and their press is just so hard to handle that makes it you can't deny these guys. At number 2, just like last week, no change. I still think this team is really, really good. 6-1-2, Colorado College. They beat St. Thomas of Texas in the SCAC opener. I think this team has legs, and we'll see as now they go into the SCAC and they start traveling all over the West Coast. So, see what happens. And that leaves me to number 1. No change again from last week. 9-0-1, Mary Washington. They tied Hopkins again, which was a great game. And last minute tie by Hopkins. They were winning that game. Then they beat Messiah. I still think they play the best soccer, and I still think that they're worthy of the number 1 spot. So, yeah, that's it. At number 1, Mary Washington. All right, I hope you enjoyed this top 25 ranking for, I think it's week 4. Yeah, if I missed anyone, if you think I'm totally crazy, that's totally fine. Down below, post. You can shoot me a DM. Always willing to engage. Really do appreciate it. Give a like, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like I said, if I'm missing anybody or you think I'm off the beaten path, by all means, please correct me. And I hope to see you next time in an upcoming video. Thank you.